of the Master McKinley gang.
In spite of, come on out.
And Dr. Gabrail, welcome to our show. Dr. Gabrail's founder of the Gabrail Cancer Center. He's an oncologist and clinical researcher. Again, welcome to our program.
Thank you. Good morning.
And a local author. Good Medicine is Cheaper Medicine, a book that I read. You ought to go out and pick up a copy of it at his office. It really gives a different perspective on medicine than even I've seen before, so I enjoyed the book.
Well, that's interesting. Can you give us a thumbnail explanation of what the book is about, Dr. Gabrail?
Well, the book is a description of my experience in the 3 different countries in the practice of medicine. I did do a medical school and did some training in Iraq, and then I did my graduate education in Scotland, so I practiced also in the English system, and then came to the U.S., and I started realizing that on average for every dollar we spend on healthcare in the U.S., Western Europe spends about 61 cents. And I don't think we can argue that our outcomes or our health style or our longevity is substantially better than Western Europe, despite the big gap. So I started practicing medicine here in actually I started my training in 84 in the US in Michigan, and then went to Missouri and then came to Canton, Ohio in 1990. And during all this time I started watching what is it that makes this great country so different, and what is it that makes this greatest civilization ever in history to be kind of falling behind in the healthcare system. And to sum it up, I think it's mostly overutilization, and some of it is even maybe to do with the way we do medical education. I think we do more testing than what we need to. I think we are still institution-minded people, meaning we still think that the hospital is a place to go, the hospital is our rescue, the hospital is our guardian angel. So we're depending on this institution a lot, and those are very expensive, and at the same time, sometimes they can be even harmful. So all that information, all put in one book, expose some of the pitfalls that we have, some of the problems we have, why we're overspending. In fact, I even mentioned why I don't think that malpractice and litigation is a factor. So some people think, well, because of the lawyers. I really don't think so. Not because my son is just graduated from law school. It's because it's a fact that I think it's more than that.
Yeah, you're right about that, because statistics reveal that litigation in the medical field is very minimal compared to what people think it is. So I agree with you on that point. But, you know, you raised a lot of issues, Dr. Gabrail, in terms of health care. What conclusions did you reach in terms of why our medical system is not as, I guess, efficient as others in the world?
Well, in a nutshell, you want to know what is the bottom line? How can we improve the system? If you look at the healthcare system in the U.S. and compare it to any other business or service, it's the only system, that's a healthcare system, where the people who actually pay the check have no say in how the money is spent. I mean, you go buy a car, right? You shop around. You go online, you go to different dealerships, you get maybe one car 1 year older, maybe you get the discount. With healthcare, you go and buy insurance. As an employer, you go and contract with the insurance company, you buy insurance, they choose the docs, they choose the hospitals, and they're supposed to be protecting your money, knowing that actually the revenues of the insurance company is based on a percentage of the gross income they get. With the ACA, with the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare we call it now, the insurance companies have a cap on how much money they can generate, how much profits. I think they dropped to about 13%. Before that, it was more than 30%, which means the insurance companies actually have no incentive to lower costs because they work on margin. So my whole thought is, unless we have the employer, the person who actually pays the bill, be involved and in charge of the system, you cannot fix the healthcare system. So what did I do? A friend of mine, his name is Bill Schweitzer. He wrote the book 4 years ago, once, twice. Third time he called me. He said, Nash, you know, I like your book. He's a good friend. We golf together. He said, I like your book. You just cannot make a movie out of it. So, well, it was
Well, and in that discussion about healthcare, because of the Affordable Care Act, and right now with the enrollment and all the issues that are going on with that, I like the point from the book which says, we should play a larger role in our own health. We as individuals should be taking a larger responsibility for our health. And so when you say good medicine is cheaper medicine, it's how do I do those preventative things that keep me out of the hospital, that keep me from getting cancer or some of those other diseases. There's some things I can do myself, and that's the empowering piece. And that's why when I said our black and white ball, the theme, if you will, is that a healthy community is an empowered community. Because Grandma always said, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
And Grandma was right about that, too. We're talking with Vince Watts, the CEO of the Greater Stark County Urban League, and Dr. Nash Gabrail. He is the speaker for this year's Black and White Ball. He's also a guest this morning. We got 3 minutes, Dr. Gabrail. In that 3 minutes, if you could change healthcare delivery here in the United States, what would you do?
Actually, we are. So I went back to my story with Bill Schweitzer. So he came to me, he said, I want your book to become a business. So what we do now, we have a company we started. We go to the employer, and we have the clinics at the workplace. We have the first contract, in fact, with IRE, the guys who make the cabs for the pickup trucks. And we have the clinics at the workplace. The clinic is funded, paid for by the employer. The employees, they get seen for free, they get medication for free when they're seen in the clinic, right? And they don't have to take day off to be seen by the doc. Also, IRA and we mandate that the employees do get health assessment once a year. And those who have chronic illness like diabetes, hypertension, they need to be seen sooner. Watch them and make sure that we prevent complications. At the same time, the employer is giving incentive to those people. So you go to the family doc, your copay 20%. But if you follow up here with your assessment like as required, your copay with the family doc is lower. Of course, your service here at the clinic site is free. Even hospitalization, whatever other services, CAT scans, if you comply with the clinic, you get a discount on your out-of-pocket expense.
That's a good point. We don't have a lot of time this morning because I could sit around and talk to you a long time about this particular issue because it's very important to me and very important to a lot of our listeners. So we're going to have to invite you back specifically to talk about your cancer center, ARE, and what you're doing there in your book and your overall philosophy of delivery of medical services. I wish we had more time this morning. So Stefan King, our producer, is going to contact you. He'll, before you leave, get your schedule and figure out when we can bring you back on as soon as possible because I'd like to continue this conversation.
I'll be happy to do that. Just bottom line is, the more money you spend, the less the quality of life and the outcomes are not as good.
Yeah, that's kind of backwards, isn't it?
It's backward. We think that, it's in America, anytime there is a problem, what do? Let's put more money. Like education is not good. Let's put more money. No, there are times, or a lot of times, where actually spending less can be even better because you squeeze out of the people their best, their juices, right? That's my philosophy.
I like Good medicine is cheaper medicine.
Yes. The Black White Ball coming up. There's also going to be a luncheon the same day down at the Canton Community Center. And you'll hear more about the Black White Ball the rest of this week. We're going to be mentioning at least once a day of how you can get tickets and how you can attend. Vince Watts, thanks for being a guest this morning, Vince.
Appreciate it, Ron. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
We'll see you again real soon.
Absolutely.
Coming up after the news, Senator Rob Portman. We'll be right back on The Ron Ponder Show.